Hi, everybody. Thank you for stopping by Living To Do's review of Married at First Sight, season 14, episode 2. It was called A Nice Day for a Wicked Wedding. I don't know why they said wicked. I don't know what was wicked about it. Um, so let's get into this. First off, they only did two weddings this episode. It was 2 hours, and just got to two weddings, and we have two more to go next week. But what I noticed in this episode is that they didn't give gifts this year. You know how the groom and bride would exchange gifts before the wedding? That didn't happen this year. So I'm kind of glad. I don't know if I missed it or not. Maybe I didn't miss it at all. The first couple that we'll talk about in this episode was Alyssa and Chris. Not much happened with them. Now they showed them going wedding dress shopping, and I hated those gold boots that Alyssa had that she's going to wear with her wedding dress. I thought those boots were so tacky, but you do you, of course. Um, I guess she's really into country, and she wants something of country in her wedding. I don't know. Pick something else. Those boots were atrocious. Um, Now they showed Chris at the tux shop. He's gonna pick out his tux with a few of his friends. Chris doesn't seem like he belongs on this show. I just get a weird sense about this guy. I hope he's on the up and up, and this is something he wants to do, marry a woman on this show. Uh, Not much happened there. We'll see them next week, pretty much, at their wedding. Also, Noy and Steve, we saw them. Not much happened with them. They went wedding dress shopping and or wedding shopping. Um, the one thing was really interesting with Noy. She was, born in a refugee camp, and they showed a picture of her. Um, that picture looked like it was taken in the 1930s, but uh, they had a picture of her, and they just look kind of down and out. And then you see her in the dress store in her beautiful wedding dress. She made a beautiful bride. It just, it just shows you how your life can change for the better. And it just showing that picture and then showing her standing there up on that little stage on her wedding with her wedding dress. It was just a happy moment. I could see how her family could be happy. She could be really happy. They've really have come a long way. I was happy for them. And looking at Steve, um, nothing to say about him at all, but he he and Noy look like they would match each other. They look good together. So I hope, when they finally meet, I think they really are gonna I think they're gonna be a couple that makes it. They just seem to have the same kind of temperament. The next couple is Lindsay and Mark. We didn't see a lot of Lindsay, which was nice. We we get a little break from her, and even in small doses, though, I found her to be still too much. Her sense of humor, she's has this issue with having five cats, and she said something about Mark's three cats are older and they're closer to death, so there won't be so many cats in the house. I mean, that's kind of people are close to their animals. Who says things like that? If you got elderly parents, you don't say things like that. Oh, well, they're close to death. There'll be a room free in a little bit. It's just so tacky. That girl. And then when she's taking the photos with her wedding photos, she has her family there, Mark's family there, and she makes some comment like in 3 hours there's going to be no underwear. I mean, this, I, red flags everywhere with that girl. Red flags. Her mouth. She was trying to pick out Mark's people, at the wedding, and she thought she spotted Mark's mother, and she asked, "Oh, is that your mom?" And Mark's all, "No, that's my landlord." You're close enough to your landlord that you invite him to your wedding. That's cool. Mark thinks that he believes that Lindsay's personality uh, might be good for him. I don't know how that's good for anybody, but he thinks he would live more. And I hope that remains true. I hope he can find happiness and tolerance with her, and maybe she can calm down a little bit, uh, because she is wild. um, the next couple that we'll talk about is Jasmina and Michael. Jasmina is absolutely beautiful, just beautiful. Her dress was beautiful. She looked so pretty on her. Michael, uh, he, I think he's going to be really happy with Jasmina. In fact, he said so much during the wedding. Or actually, he just said wow. But first, before the wedding, was Michael and his family. And they had a real touching moment when Michael's brother pinned a pink ribbon on his lapel because uh, it their mother died of breast cancer, and that was a way of having her them feeling like she was at the wedding. And of course they teared up. It was a real touching moment. He was really close to his mother. I think he's how old is he? I'm not sure how old he was, but he was 20 when his mother passed away. And it really meant something to him. I cried a little bit. It was really something. um But I touch on that Jasmine is from Jamaica and Michael is Haitian. So they're both islanders or descendants of islanders. Um, Michael, he loved Jasmina when she walked down the aisle. He just kept saying, "Wow, wow." He really thought she was beautiful. I thought that was really sweet. He got lucky in this draw. Um, I'm not sure how Jasmina felt about Michael, though. Um, but Michael said that Jasmina was 100% his type. Yeah, she's absolutely beautiful, stunning, just a beautiful woman. They had their first drinks. And it was so cute when they met up, their first time being semi alone. I know the cameras are there. And they had their little champagne and the champagne flute. And Michael starts drinking. He didn't toast his wife or anything. I think it's out of nerves, but that was sweet. I see the sweetness in Michael. I just hope he is who he says he is. We get the representatives during these first days, and I don't know how he will change, but right now he's very sweet. Um, they talked about what time they go to bed. I don't know. That's something interesting to talk about right off the bat. And Jasmina spoke about what she likes to watch, and what she likes to watch is Korean shows. Um, and I I didn't understand that. I wish she'd talk about a little bit more why she likes them and what she sees in them. I don't know if she speaks the language, because they even mentioned her going somewhere to an Asian country in her wedding vows. So she has a thing for this. I I'm not sure what the fascination is, but okay. The last couple that we'll talk about is Katina and Olajuwon. Um, Now Olajuwon, Olajuwon. When I look at him, I kept thinking he reminds me of somebody. I just didn't know who, and then it hit me. He looks like Bubbles from The Wire. You guys see that? I see it. And another trait that he has a bubble. he can't stand still like like someone who is an addict. He just his head's moving is always uh, just rocking back and forth, just unable to stand still, which also reminds me of Bubbles. Um, and Katina's mother, she reminds me of someone famous too. She reminds me of, doesn't she look like Aretha Franklin? I don't know. I just something about her face looks like Aretha Franklin to me. Um, Olajuwon, now before the wedding, he cried, out of nerves or whatnot. But that is the same thing that Zach did last year, and I just hope that Olajuwon is nothing like Zach. And I think there is a good chance that Olajuwon is. Um, he was emotional, very emotional. He was getting hugs from the production because he said he was nervous. One thing he worried about is that he didn't mess around with someone that his future bride would know. I thought that was funny. He's a player in the streets. I thought they would know each other. Um, maybe when they talk, they'll find out they have some friends in common, or acquaintances in common. And when he saw Katina walking down the aisle, he just thought she was beautiful, and she was. She's also a very, very beautiful bride. Um, he said when he met her that he was glad that the experts picked her. He just kept telling her how beautiful she was. How and he went overboard in the compliments, and she never said anything to him. And then he said to her, "I hope you like what you see." She's like, "Yeah, yeah, of course." But she didn't give out one compliment. I wonder what she truly felt. Did she think she saw bubbles too? Uh, anyway, now one thing I liked is in his vows is that he read from the heart, and I loved it. I thought it was touching. I thought it didn't sound fake. I mean, I know he doesn't know her, but it sounded real, and I was surprised he could do it. I have very little faith in this guy, and but I was impressed by that. So I hope that is an indication of what he will be as a husband. But again, you bring your representative. We'll see what you're really about later. And he was sweet. I think so far he's the only guy. There's only been 3 weddings, but to ask his bride Katina if he could kiss her at the altar, which I think is sweet in this day and age, especially if you don't know anybody. I mean, if you were dating and it was your wedding, you don't ask that question. But I thought it was sweet that he was considerate enough to ask her. When they get their little time together, they're talking. In fact, he's talking a lot. He's very talkative, and it's overwhelming for Katina. I could see that. In fact, in the editing, you just see him doing all the talking. She was doing no talking. She was just sipping her champagne. Um, so I don't know how she really feels about this guy. Uh, I don't know if he noticed that he was talking too much. He needs to read the room and get his social cues. And I know it's nerves. You're meeting somebody, you're trying to impress them at your wedding day. You've never met them, but he needs to calm down a little bit on that. Um, he did like her tattoos on her arm. She's a beautiful girl, but she has tattoos running down her arm, and and you don't see his tattoos. He said he was covered, and he is. She'll see that later. Um, so that was basically it for this episode. I liked watching it. It wasn't a lot to say about it. Their little scenes, little wedding dresses. I guess next week we're gonna have the rest of the weddings, and they're gonna finish these receptions next week. So we have another week. I don't have how many hours has it been? 5 hours. We could have had real 5 weddings in this time. Uh, but so next week I will come back for another episode of Married at First Sight. So I want to thank everybody who is, if this is your first time, I thank you for coming. People who've been here before, thank you for coming back. I'd like to ask if you would please subscribe and like and possibly share this video to help this little channel grow. I would really, really appreciate it. And I thank you in advance, but I gotta go because I got living to do. Bye.